Hey everyone, it's Adam from IMAMUSICMOGUL in for Output, and today I'm going to show you how to layer your drums properly. Now, a lot of it comes from just listening to the sounds that you have and thinking, what can I add to kind of thicken up this sound and make it stand out from the mix and live in its own space entirely. So I'm going to go through a couple things that you can apply to your kick and clap / snare sound so you can kind of bring it out in your mix and make it stand on its own right. So right here we got a basic kick and clap loop. So we're going to start off with the kick here and make that a little bit fuller, a little bit punchier, and make that sort of punch through the mix once it's with all the other instruments. Now this kick right here doesn't sound too bad on its own, but once we're going to put that into a mix, it's going to be lost in translation. So what we need to do here is first listen to the kick. So to me, that kick sounds very mid-rangey. It doesn't really have much low end and it doesn't really have much top end to make it stand out and sort of poke through. So first let's go ahead and add in a lower tone to it, some sub bass. And luckily for us in Logic, it's very easy to add that. If we select our track, go to Audio Effects, scroll down to Specialized, go to Sub Bass, Stereo. This plugin will allow you to enter in or easily put in a low subtone beneath the kick. So there's actually a preset I like to start off with, and that is the Deep Club Kick. That's with it off. All right, so now that we figured out our low end, added in some quick low end to our kick, let's go ahead and make this stand out from the rest of the mix. Right now we got nice low end, nice mid-tones, and now we need to add in sort of a kick topper to make that push through. A lot of times what you could do is just put in a hi-hat on top of that kick every time the kick hits, and that will kind of poke through. But in this case, we're gonna add in a physical kick topper sample. So I'm gonna create a new audio track, and we're gonna go with no input. We're going to go on our side over here, and I have my top kick over here. Now it doesn't sound like much on its own, but once we layer it in with that kick, it's going to make a big difference. Now I already pre-chosen my samples I'll be layering up my samples with just to speed up this tutorial. Let's go ahead and bring this in here. And I'm just going to pop it in on every kick. Now if we layer the two together, if we go ahead and take this top kick out, our kick doesn't sound full anymore. If we bring it back in, so let's go ahead and just A/B everything we put together. So here's the kick in its dry format. Next we added in that low tone. And finally we added in that top kick. All right, so now that we got our kick in place, let's go ahead and layer up this clap over here. So let's go ahead and take a listen to our clap and see what we're going to be working with. So pretty basic clap, not bad in its own right, but we're going to go ahead and just beef that up a little bit. So as you can see here, I got two clap samples. This clap over here is going to give us some low end and some body to that sound. And the snap clap is going to give us some high tones and just make it really punch through the mix. So let's go ahead and add in this low tone guy in and just layer it up with our clap. So as you can see, that already beefed it up. If I take it out, bring it in. Next, let's go ahead and bring in this snap clap just to bring in some of that top end and sort of snappiness. So this snap clap is also adding in another layer of texture to our clap. It's a little bit different than the other sounds. It rings out a little longer, and it's just making our clap a little bit more unique. If I take this last one out, it feels like we're missing something now. I'm gonna bring it back in. Next, what we could do is just group all these tracks, Control click, and create a track stack. We'll do a summing track, create. What this essentially does is create an auxiliary bus track. And on this sum track over here, we're going to add in some reverb. Let's go to reverb. Let's just bring in platinum verb. Add in some reverb on that clap. All right, next what I'm going to show you is a little bit fun. You don't need to do this part, but it's something that I've learned when I first started in music and how to layer up a real live recorded snare sound. But you could also apply this to synthetic sounds like this one and create cool, unique sounds yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and just create a new audio track. And we're going to select a new bus here. Let's go bus 5, create. And on this track, we're going to bring in an audio effects. We're going to go to utility and bring in test oscillator. So right now this is not soloed, but if I solo it, you're going to hear the sine wave at 100 Hertz. But I'm just going to unsolo that for now so it doesn't drive us crazy. Next in this chain, we're going to go ahead and bring in a gate. So dynamic noise gate. Let's close the test tone for now. And on our side chain, we're going to listen to this clap over here. So let's go to clap. And if I solo this now, we won't hear anything because the clap is not triggering this gate. So let's go ahead and hit play and hear what we've got so far. So now every time that clap hits, this test oscillator is going to play whatever I set within its parameters. Next, we can go ahead and adjust the attack, maybe the hold and pull up the release. So on a real live snare, what you'd usually do is put in some white noise or pink noise, and it'll add as a sort of lower tone to that snare sound. Of course, you'd want to mix this lower. Just going to adjust the threshold here. And there you just added another sort of layer to that clap sound that you wouldn't normally have in there. And now this is where the fun comes into play. You can go ahead and play around with the different generators. This with pink noise. And with square waves, if you're doing more electro type sounds or EDM, this could kind of work in your favor. And you could pick the frequency on this side over here. So will.i.am used to do a lot of this on some of his sounds. He used to add in a square wave on some of his sounds, and it created this sort of robotic, sort of techno feel, and it's kind of cool like that. Again, you could just play around with the different oscillators, generators. In music, there are no rules. All there is just tools that you could use to kind of create your own sort of cool sounds. And now if we do a final A/B test from what we've started with, I'm going to go ahead and mute all these layered claps. I'm going to take off our reverb. Let's take out our top kick and take out our sub bass. Here's what we started with. We added in some low tones. Added in a top kick. Added in a nice low clap. Add in a snappier sort of sound. Added in some white noise. And finally added in that reverb. And now we got our drum pattern to sound nice, full, and thick, and ready to sort of stand out in its own right within the mix. Hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. We'll see you all in the next one.